Meanwhile, police in Kenya have confirmed that the body of a missing Electoral Commission official has been found in a forest several kilometers from his duty station. Daniel Musyoka, a returning officer of Embakasi East constituency, was abducted on Thursday last week, 2 days after the elections. Police say his two sisters have positively identified his body. Meanwhile, more than half of the Election Commission's members have rejected election results. Earlier, I spoke to SABC News correspondent Sarah Kimani.
Well, the body was found in a thicket several kilometers away in a place called Loitoktok. That would be more than 200 kilometers away from his duty station. His duty station was in Nairobi, but he was found in another station altogether. We understand he met his death in unclear circumstances. Police probe already showing that he may have been tortured and killed somewhere else, and only for his body to be dumped in this forest.
At this point, do the police have any leads or have they made any arrests?
No arrests have been made. We understand that they are now looking through what they found at the scene. We understand his clothes were not found on him, but they were just next to him. He did not have any identification documents on him. He did not have his phone on him, but he has been positively identified by his two sisters. He lived in Nairobi alone. His daughter lived alone, and we understand that she called him and spoke to him on the day that he was abducted, and she wished him well on the duty that lay ahead of him. He was a returning officer, meaning he was in charge of the whole process from the time people cast their ballots to the tallying process. Apparently, he came out of the polling station to pick up a call, and that was the last that people saw of him. His wife says when she spoke to him early that morning, he sounded hurried because of the nature of work, because it was now getting busier after the polls had closed, but he did not say that he had faced any threats to his life.
So we were saying while announcing the presidential election results yesterday, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Wafula Chebukati, said commissioners had been intimidated, arrested or kidnapped. Do we know how many officials were intimidated or kidnapped during this election? And I know we're talking about this one official, but how many incidents were there that were recorded?
Well, the commissioner only announced this particular person, Daniel, during one of the press conferences. But when he was speaking yesterday, he said that the commission his officials had gone through so much. We saw a day before the elections, a place in northern Kenya on the border with Somalia called Wajir, gunshots ringing out at a polling station at night. And that election had to be called off for that day and moved on to the next day, to the 10th of August, while elections was on the 9th. We understand in that area, in Wajir, a lady was kidnapped. And although the commission has not spoken about it, there are reports that indeed one official was kidnapped there in Wajir. We understand one of them was arrested outside the National Tallying Center with a computer. He's still being held under terrorism charges. Under terrorism suspicion, and his laptop was confiscated. We saw this just before the elections, a lot of back and forth between police and the Electoral Commission, and we don't know if this is a continuation. We don't know if any of Kenyan authorities may be involved in the harassment or in the arrest, but indeed, Chebukati spoke of this. He spoke about kidnappings. He did not say how many. He spoke about arrests. And he spoke about general intimidation, although he did not substantiate. We hope that when he's giving a post-mortem of the polls and the whole electoral process, then he will be able to address some of these things. But we also saw a major division in the Electoral Commission yesterday when 4 of the commissioners left the National Tallying Center and said that they would not own the results that Chebukati was about to announce. So it seems clearly that the process has been fractious, but it has also now infiltrated the Electoral Commission.
Speaking about those 4 commissioners who walked out, reports are saying that Raila Odinga supporters allege that the elections were rigged. What can you tell us here?
Yes, indeed. And we understand, although Mr. Odinga is yet to speak, we understand that they are preparing to move to court. They say there were massive irregularities and illegalities. They say there was a lot of electoral malpractice. They're talking about numbers in some areas being increased in favor of Deputy President, now President-elect William Ruto. They're saying that in some cases you'll find that the number of people who voted for the Member of Parliament were lower than the number of people who voted for the President. And so for them, that shows discrepancies in the numbers. Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga has not spoken. However, Martha Karua, his running mate, tweeted last night saying it is not over until it's over, probably to mean that they will be moving to court. This morning, I privately spoke to Raila Odinga's lawyer, Mr. Paul Mwangi, and he also intimated to me that they're preparing to move to court. He could not give the day, although they have just 7 days from yesterday to be able to file a petition in court. And then the Supreme Court, once that is filed, have 14 days, that is 2 weeks, to be able to determine that case. If the court finds that there were illegalities, irregularities, then they will call another poll, which must be held within 2 weeks. If there are no illegalities, then on September the 12th, William Ruto will be sworn in as president. Should there be no contest at this point, then we are preparing to have William Ruto sworn in as Kenya's 5th president on the 30th of August this month.
With that cleared, on the ground, what are people of Kenya, what are Kenyans saying about this result? Is there a sense of acceptance, or is there also doubt there?
It's two-way. There are those who are excited that Deputy President William Ruto won the election. There are those who feel that Raila Odinga was once again cheated of his victory. And there are those who feel that President Kenyatta may have actually cost Raila Odinga his victory. Some saying that maybe Raila Odinga should have continued vying for elections without the support of the incumbent, because it was the first time Uhuru Kenyatta was supporting Raila Odinga, but also he supported Raila Odinga against his deputy. So some people saying that may have cost Odinga his victory, also because some the jury is still out on Uhuru's performance, but many feel he did not perform well. So they felt that if Odinga was good to continue with Kenyatta's legacy, then the country would continue sliding into economic hardships, a high cost of living. There are those, however, who feel that Ruto won fair and square. Remember, the results were in the public portal. So we have several public citizens who are today releasing their results, so to speak, saying, look, I tallied, and my tally is the same as the one of the IEBC. I tallied, mine is slightly lower, but many people still believe that because the results were out in the portal, it is clear that Ruto won. But a lot of Raila supporters also feeling that this was another rigged election.
So just in terms of word from the presidential house, what's outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta saying, and do we know how will be spending his post-presidency days?
Well, President Kenyatta remains quiet. However, 2 days ago, the Assumption of Office committee said that they were ready to hand over power and they were preparing the processes of transition. Deputy President William Ruto yesterday saying that he will be reaching out to his boss just to find out how the transition processes are going. From today, Deputy President William Ruto, by the virtue of being president-elect, will start receiving security briefings. He'll start receiving intelligence reports as he prepares to take over power. In terms of President Kenyatta, we do not know what he plans to say. He has not called any addresses, said whether he will be addressing the nation. What we have seen is regional leaders congratulating William Ruto, embassies here and foreign missions here in Kenya, also congratulating the people of Kenya and calling for peace and calm. So we are waiting to see. In terms of what President Kenyatta will do after his retirement, he's young, so he may be involved in a lot of work with the African Union. Already we have seen him as a peace builder with the East African community, working with the Democratic Republic of Congo, working in Ethiopia to try try and bring peace. So maybe he will be engaged in that. On a private side, he comes from a family of business people. They have milk companies, they have farms. So maybe he will retreat to either of the farms and continue with either of the businesses. We still do not know what he will do. He has not told us of what his plans are in retirement.
Sarah Kimani there.